hosting 9 of our journalists from ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication, and 15 educators who are participating in the International Leaders in Education program in the Mary Lou Fulton Teachers College, also at ASU. So in a few moments, you'll have an opportunity to learn about both of the programs. And before we get started, though, I wanted to recognize a few of our distinguished guests. We are honored today to have the president of Yavapai College, Dr. Penny Will, here today. And seated next to her is our Vice President of Instruction and Student Services, Dr. Greg Gillespie. And please know, I haven't assigned them to particular tables. So they're going to be floating around and talking to whoever they want to break into the conversation with. So our agenda today, I'll get my PowerPoint up in just a moment, but our agenda is to have an overview of both of the programs. Kareem Awadallah, I didn't get your pronunciation right, I hope I got that right, is going to give us an overview of the Humphrey Fellows program. And he's going to be followed by Asma, Salah, and Brian Lupisa, and they're going to tell us about the International Leaders in Education program. Then I'm going to turn it over to you. And the reason I had this, someone described it as kind of a speed dating kind of setup. We don't know what that is in America, but maybe your table host will tell you. I specifically matched you with particular students who wanted to meet you. And in several of my classes, I teach sociology and psychology. I told them about this program. My classes don't generally begin until noon, so this is early for a lot of them. They were highly motivated to meet you, and they were specific people, so I did my very best to match up everyone with specific individuals they wanted to meet. So they're very motivated, eager to talk to you, and they have a list of questions, but they can go with whatever they want. So my intention with the round table portion, I had to actually reset this room up so it would be round tables. But my intention with that is for you just to have dialogues and get to know one another. And then we'll do that for about 20 minutes. And then at the end of that, go around the room with the top 3 most interesting things that you talked about at your table. Just do kind of a round robin wrap up and then we'll close. I know you need to be on your way to Monument Valley today, so we will make it efficient and fun. So anyway, without further ado, I'd like to welcome Dr. Penny Will. She wants to make a few remarks today.
Welcome. For those of you who have been here the whole year, and for those of you who just joined us in Arizona as January, this is our allergy season. And I did not expect to have allergies in the desert. But you can see by our beautiful wildflowers that are on this campus, allergies are around. So I apologize. My mother said never start with apologies, so let's not, that part is over. But I want to, first of all, thank Carly, Dr. Wade, for orchestrating this and bringing this together. You may not know about her, because she's a very humble individual. She's an outstanding professor. Dr. Wade teaches, I think, both sociology and psychology, but she teaches in a very interesting format. One of the best faculty in online as well as hybrid, where we do a lot of stuff online and then come together and bring the students together. Invariably, when I ask students who has made a difference, her name is at the top of the list. And so you have that quality of instruction, and there's other faculty members. Terrence is here, and I see some other faculty here as well. So there we are. Okay. The quality of faculty here at Yavapai is amazing. And I just encourage you to get to know them and let them get to know you. Their commitment to be here today, to get to just meet you as well as a student, is very, very, it speaks of their dedication as educators. But I understand this is the first or one of the few community colleges that you've had a chance to be at. Community colleges are a unique American phenomenon. It is something that we're very, very proud of in America. And we are the real honest people in American higher education, in that when we say we have an office of admissions, we mean it. It is not an office of rejection. Meaning we take all students and see where they are situated, what are their skill levels, etc., and say, what do you want to accomplish? We will give you. And so you'll see our learning center, et cetera, to go ahead and help tutor people to get them up to that level. We have developmental ed classes, et cetera. We have both vocational and lower division transfer. Courses like English, creative writing, biology, et cetera, to let people transfer on to ASU, U of A, NAU, or any of the other partners that we have, which are men. So this is what we have here. Now, something very unique about this campus is that it definitely has a pulse on the communities that it serves. We're one of 2 campuses in this at Yavapai College, and then we have 5 other centers around this county. And if you study your geography, you'll know that Yavapai County is the size of the state of Massachusetts on the East Coast. So we're a pretty big county. And one of the things that we do, something that is industry that is coming back to Yavapai County, especially the Verde Valley, is the wine industry. Some of you, I understand, heard about that and were thinking we would be serving wine this morning. I hate to disappoint you. I'm sure you're all of age, and the grapes are growing beautifully out here. But we will be the only estate vineyard at a 2-year college in the United States. And we will be serving not just the Verde Valleys, not just Arizona, but all of the inland Southwest. And soon we will, well, we already have 4 acres planted there of grapes, but we will have up to 17 acres planted, and the racquetball court that you see up there, the handball court, will soon in June, we will break ground to remodel that and have it be where we process the grapes, bottle them, and we will have a tasting room right here on campus. But that's not about us, it's about serving our communities. And the wine here is exceptionally good. It's not something that I would make in my basement. It's very, very good. And we believe in partnering, and that's what community colleges are about. We serve our communities, and we're very proud of it, and the communities own us in the sense that they take great pride. So we have an interesting thing, and Terrence and I were just talking, because you're on the city council. We may be in Clarkdale, but Cottonwood likes to claim this, Clarkdale claims this, Sedona's claiming this, it's great. But we don't take that lightly. We don't take that respect, etc. lightly. We are constantly in a mode to earn that respect of our communities. So we are very, very happy to have you here. Dr. Mike, I am so pleased that you are coordinating that. Get to know this person and get to know the faculty. They are exceptional. So thank you very much and welcome.
So, Greg, are you wanting to say a few words? Sorry to put you on the spot, but...
No, that's fine. The only thing I'll add is just to echo Dr. Will's welcome to you. Just really glad to have you here on campus, and hope you enjoy the morning here. Just thanks for taking the time to come here, and Carly, you for helping make that happen.
Absolutely. Thank you. So, Kareem, are you ready for your, we've got your PowerPoint up, and they tell me that that's so if it's not work, I'm going to be
Mr. and Mrs. the President, Yavapai team member. It's usually awkward for me to say Mrs. President. I know. This is not very common. Fellows from the ILEP and Humphrey friends and family now, and ASU team, and all the US and international friends. First, we would like to express, on behalf of myself and my team, we would like to express our great appreciation for your gracious and kind hosting. And let me give you a quick overview about the Humphrey program. So, can we start?
Okay.
Okay, so now you look to something else other than me, which is something I don't like. However, the Hubert H. Humphrey program is named after Hubert H. Humphrey, the American Vice President, and this was to honor his memory. In this program, middle career professions from all over the world, I think it was 2000 something this year, they chose from them 119, presenting 92 countries, come to the States for a period of 10 months, where we get to do really exciting stuff and very nice things. This is Hubert H. Humphrey, for the Americans who don't know him, of course, internationals know him very well. So we go to the next slide, please. During the Humphrey year, we get to do many good stuff. You can see them as in the circles there. Part of the things we do is social activities, which is really very interesting. Class attendances, every one of the students get to attend one class mandatory, and another class you get to choose, and you can take it for credit, and you can choose other classes as well in case you would like to attend as an observer for other classes. We get the chance to go and visit, and I mean like do conferences. We meet, and this is really very important part of the program, we meet Americans as each one of us having a hosting family, where we're not living with them, but we are oriented to the family structure of the United States, which is a really great thing. And the professional affiliation thing, which is the reason I'm so much excited now. The professional affiliation thing is that you do in professional affiliation, which is an intern named differently to cover our ego because we're in a way professionals, in an American counterpart. I'm so excited because I just discovered after I came here and I opened my phone like 5 minutes ago that my professional affiliation is accepted. So that's good news for me. That's why I'm excited. That's a quick overview about what did I miss something. Because I can't see that far from this view. Oh, the faculty mentors. This is another thing that we don't get back home. Each one of us is having a faculty member to mentor us through the process. These are some photos of the things we get to do. It's amazing. Some other things, before we jump into this, some other things we have the chance to do and present our countries, which is not part of the program or mandatories. Like for me, for instance, I was privileged enough to do 13 TV and radio and newspaper interviews, and even conference speaking about what happened. Unfortunately, it wasn't a nice, pleasant incident when the US embassies have been attacked in the Middle East during the last war. So this is another thing you can get to do, and this gives you an example of how lenient and cooperative the program is designed to be. These are some photos of us doing some stuff. The first corner on the left is us in the food bank where we were helping in that. This was a great experience. CNN, of course, doesn't need, I wasn't there unfortunately, but doesn't need explanation. The lower corner on the left, when we went to a special, and my phone is ringing out, but I made it silent. I'm very sorry for that. The lower left, when we went to a basketball, this was a VIP treatment when we went especially to a basketball orientation, and some other speeches we had during our year. I think that's all we have. We don't have it.
Now you had a few other slides that we skipped over of you as a group.
And that's our group photo taken by Michelle, who is joining us today. Where's Michelle? Okay, so in case someone wants a professional photo, Michelle is there. This is our group photo we took in the very beginning of our Humphrey year, which now when we look at it, we really are feeling sad because it's almost 2 months and then we will be separated, unfortunately. But hopefully we will be, and I'm sure that we will be still in contact. Again, we are so grateful that we're here with you, and we are welcoming any questions that we can be of help to you. And thank you for hosting us here.
Now, one thing I neglected to do before I introduced Kareem, I didn't really tell you about him. And I wanted to just mention a few things. Kareem is from Egypt, of course, has a bachelor's degree in tourism and hotel management from Alexandria University, and is the youngest talk show host for Egyptian radio and television union, and he hosts a primetime political program, as well as a live morning talk show. So a little bit about Kareem. And during his Humphrey year, you have studied TV production, yes, online news and multimedia journalism. A little bit about Kareem. And then we next are going to hear from our educators from the International Leaders in Education program. I think we have you present up. And we're going to hear from Asma. And Asma has, Salah has been teaching English and social studies for over 5 years and is responsible for her school's educational activities. She received her BA in English from University. Asma's objective for participating in ILEP is to find techniques to learn new techniques to implement in the educational process in her home country while aspiring to find better ways of communicating with her students and coworkers. How has that been for you this year? Very good. Okay. And then we also have Brian. Brian Rabisa is a math teacher, and I'm not going to try to pronounce this, from Uganda, we'll just say that. Brian Pizza has been teaching math at a secondary school for 10 years. He received his bachelor's of science with education degree from Makera University, and his main objective for participating in ILEP is to integrate new innovations in his school's teaching and learning process. So how does that work? And how long have you both been here? Since January. Okay, great. Go ahead. I will go ahead and give you class. You got it?
No, they're all tall, so.
Yeah. Right. Good morning, dear guests. Good morning for all the important people that are here. And actually, I don't remember all of your names, so I'm sorry. Today, I, Asma and Brian, on behalf of all the ILEP fellows, will have the pleasure to introduce to you some little information about our program, and we hope that you like it.
She has talked about ILEP. ILEP in full is International Leaders in Education Program, and this is a program which brings outstanding secondary school teachers from all over the world to the United States to equip them with more skills about their teaching, and then to give them more knowledge about the United States. We are here representing different countries, and we are taking you through a tour of the countries we represent now. If you look at the slides, if we go to the far east from Indonesia, we have Berry and Gusri.
We would love Berry and Gusri to stand up so everyone can see you. If we travel again, we are still in Asia. We move to Malaysia. We meet our three lovely people, Anutral, Leo, and Fazrina. So please stand up.
We proceed, and as we move from Lebanon, we have one representative. That is Fatima. Stand up.
Moving to Africa, we start by Egypt, where you have Asma and Fatin.
Asma is here. Still in Africa, move down to Uganda. That's where we have Michael and Brian.
Still in Africa, we are going to Ghana, where we find Victor.
He's the only man from Ghana. And then we move far west into Senegal. That's where we find Samba and Thomas.
Last but not least, the two beautiful girls from Brazil, Adriana and Patricia.
Right. Now, who funds ILEP? ILEP is a program of the Bureau of Educational and Cultural Values for the United States Department of State. Those are the funders of the program, and it is implemented by IREX, which is International Research and Exchanges Board.
Many of you might wonder how all of these teachers came from all these places around the world to reach the USA. Actually, we have been through a long process for being selected here. The U.S. embassies in all of these countries has interviewed us, where we got some TOEFL exams that we have to hit some scores, and then after that we went still through some process until we are here, and we all met at Washington, D.C., the capital. And from where we have been divided to 5 universities.
75 of us met in Washington for the orientation program. And after the orientation program, we were dispatched to 5 universities. We have Clemson University, James Madison University, we have Kent State University and the College of St. Rose University, and 15 of us came to Arizona, where we met
Dr. Ara Barstow, and actually we were very lucky to meet this person who really took good care of us, and he really helped us socialize among people in Arizona. But actually at ASU, which is Arizona State University, we have been studying for 1 semester starting Jan until May.
In that 1 semester, we are taking up 2 courses which are compulsory for all of us. One is technology in education, and the other one is sharing insights around the world schools. These are courses which we all do, and we are going to implement them in our home countries. Apart from that, we audit 2 classes from our subjects of choice, but basically we have mathematics, science, we have English, literature, and then we have classroom environment.
On top of that, we are having the chance to attend some American classrooms. So every Friday, we go to one of the American high schools where we have a chance to observe and also to teach some of the American students. This gives us a chance to communicate with American students and teachers as well, and transfer our knowledge back home, and even from our knowledge to the teachers as well.
Right, next we have the goals of education. The goals of education, there are 3. One of them is to integrate us, to get us to know more about the United States, and so that we can know what the United States does, and then we'll go back and implement it back home.
Another good goal for the ILEP program is to learn new methodologies in lesson planning, teaching, and using technology.
Yeah, those are the 3 goals we have. I think we can move to the next slide.
Okay, we still have a very good chance to benefit or expand our benefits towards our countries back home. Every one of us, we are 15, so every one of us can think of an idea that he can benefit his country and school back home. He can propose this idea to IREX, and being one of the alumni, we could have a grant where this project will be funded so we can make our dream come true.
They are actually given on a competitive basis, where the best project which somebody has designed is the one which goes through, and it can be implemented as by one individual, or it can be implemented by a group of individuals who have participated in ILEP.
All right, a little break. I know that many of you think that teachers are all about studying and stress and academics, but still we have a very bright side that we would love to share with you. It's our group activities. We'll start by the first picture.
This one. The very first time we met with our colleagues from the Humphrey program, and we were at US Airways, where we went for the Harlem Globetrotters game. We had fun there.
This is what you missed, Kerry. The second picture is in Flagstaff, and actually during that time, all of us, or for most of us, it was the first time ever to see snow. So once we saw snow, we simply decided to make this cute Iceman, and we took the picture.
We named him Miriam, by the way, that snowman you see there. The next picture. This one was our international lunch. So all the ILEP fellows came together and we prepared lunch from different countries. Egypt prepared, Uganda prepared, the Senegal prepared, and we had a lot of food on the table. So we invited all the people who are engaged with us, our professors, our lecturers, our mentor teachers. We are all there and we had fun that day.
After eating, we went on another day to the top of the South Mountain. We were still, as a group, we enjoyed watching the sunset from the high top of the mountain. It was awesome and so romantic.
Now this one, you see our Professor Arabasam with the parents and the wife, Arus, plus the children. They invited us to their home. And they treated us to a very, very special lunch. That's a day we shall never forget in our lives.
All right, after all of this, again, if you have any questions, you're most welcome to raise your hand and ask now. If not, you can still go online for our website or our Facebook page and log in and get more information and maybe more exciting pictures. And at the end.
Thank you, Yavapai, for having us.
Well, thank you so much, and we're ready now to turn the program over to you. So I'd like you to just get to know each other for maybe the next 20 minutes, and just start with students. As you know, you have a list of questions. If you don't have it, raise your hand and I'll come around and make sure you have one. I know a lot of you came prepared with your own questions. That's great as well. But just get to know your guests. You wanted to meet them, so talk to them, and then I want you to be thinking about the top 3 takeaways, the most interesting things that you came up with in your conversations, and then be ready to share that with the group in about 20 minutes. All right? So talk amongst yourselves.
Are you good? You have a cover? You all right? Okay.
Okay, is everybody ready? Ready to share in your round table? I hate to cut the conversations off. We've been having such a great time, but hopefully you'll have a chance to talk a little bit more when the program is over. We're going to take a photo together as soon as we're done. We're actually going to go right out the doors to that covered area, so you can chat a little bit more on the way. But I wanted to just take our remaining time together and go around the room and share, table to table, what were some of the major takeaways. You don't have to come up with 3, but if there's something really compelling that you think the rest of the group would like to know, please share that. So I'm going to start with Maddie, and if you would, introduce your participants that you talked to. First names are fine, and then let us know what was interesting.
Well, first of all, we have Branko, and he is from Serbia. And we have Nikki Way, and she is from South Africa. Now, these 2 individuals are actually with the Hubert Humphrey Fellowship Program. They have been here since August. They are going to be here for a total of 10 months, so they go back home in June. When Nikki Way goes home, she will be going home to winter. And when Branko goes home, he's going home to summer. And he says his mountains are lush and beautiful, and the food there is absolutely delicious. One of the pressing issues that both Branko and Nikki Way said is that they have politics and economics. Those are both pressing issues, along with socioeconomics and service delivery for South Africa. By the way, did I mention that? She was from, Nikki Way's from South Africa, Branko's from Serbia. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. They both very much miss their family and their friends. Nikki Way has a beautiful patio that she likes to sit out on, and Branko really misses his dog. One thing that kind of surprised me about what they want to take back to both of their countries is the community involvement and the attention to details that they have found here in America. Now, the reason why this surprises me is living here in America, I kind of feel like sometimes we are very separated from each other, and that we don't have a lot of cohesive community involvement. And for them to think that we do and they don't is it's kind of interesting to me, because I just think that we're kind of all separate. We spend too much time apart. Okay, and the one thing that they would like to bring to America, Nikki Way would like to bring the diversity of language. They have 11 languages in their constitution as their national language. We can't even get one, but they have 11.
And they both would like to educate our nation about other nations because Americans are very single-minded. So anyway, that's what I've learned.
Now, I know we're a little pressed for time, so I didn't give you a time limit. Let's try to keep it about 2 minutes per table. So I'm going to hand it over to Lena.
Thank you, Carly. I was sitting with Fatin, Ozma, and Kareem from Egypt, and I learned some very interesting things. I think that we in the U.S. have had some serious misconceptions about the Muslim world, the Muslim religion, and I think that the Muslim people have also had similar misconceptions about us. In our conversation, I learned that the Muslim people think that we are out to get them, kind of, and we have a similar opinion here in the U.S. that the Muslim people are out to get us. And Kareem described it as pulling a string, and it's not attached to anything on the other side. And these, we were talking about how these misconceptions can only be resolved through education and through opportunities like this, and I very much enjoyed talking with you three, so thank you.
Now, typically when I do a round robin, I have the previous conversation lead to the next conversation, so we kind of have a thread that's linked from table to table. So did any of you speak about a similar topic in your round table?
This is Gina.
Hi, we are talking with Sawa and Thomas from Senegal, Africa, and one of the things that we found interesting was they thought that we hear art as open to each other as they are there. We're kind of a little much in a hurry, and that's one thing they would like to bring back. And they noticed when working with students that they were kind of shocked to see them, how they act with their teachers and amongst each other, just kissing in the hallway and whatever. They're not allowed to do that there. And the teachers are more respected there than they are here.
I'm not guessing none of my professors.
I think they mentioned the multiple languages again. They mentioned that it was interesting people from different ethnic and religious backgrounds really get along with each other. I mean, they made Senegal sound so nice that I'm going there next year. And people are really warm to each other, very friendly. People on the street will stop and talk with each other. Where here we may say hello, or we might not even make eye contact. So the Senegalese are very warm people. So that was interesting.
Now, as you were talking about how teachers are respected a little bit more in your home country, I thought of my back table with Aram. You talked about that as well, differences in schools, and we were talking a little bit about the need for a uniform. You've got school uniforms. Do you want to pick it up from here, or does someone have a similar topic? I'll just hand it off to you and we'll go from there.
Well, Victor, he was noting the cultural differences here in America, and one thing he noticed was the culture of time. I never heard that before. He says that here in the United States, people are very punctual. Another thing I found interesting is that the middle schools he thought here look like universities because they're so well equipped. Another thing he liked about the education system was the feedback on assignments that the students get, and they get a lot of help from the teachers. A lot of pressing issues for their education in their countries is that the district answers to a higher ministry, so changes to develop their schools are much more difficult to implement. And Another pressing issue is education, of course, and energy. And Uganda feels that they can bring technologies over from the U.S. to their schools to better develop their education as well. And Leo mentioned that one of the most pressing issues in his country, Malaysia, is the politics, because the politicians are corrupt. They use the money for their own good instead of helping the people with that money. And one more thing I would like to add is Victor mentioned implementing uniforms here in the United States and also in his country as well, because he feels that it will bring the students together, less distractions, according to dress codes. And he feels that if everybody looks the same and nobody's in competition to look good every single day, especially coming from a poor family, that crime will go down and people will put a stress on education to make it better.
All right, any similar topics, anything strike a chord with your table? We talked about it. Anna?
I'm going to stay seated because I will turn bright red. I had the pleasure to speak with Gusri and Ilona, and something that I'm bringing to you guys that I heard from them that I thought was really interesting was in Indonesia. Gusri was telling us about how before you graduate from a university, you have to go for 3 months to an underdeveloped country to live there and teach there and be a part of their community. And there's no electricity, and it's just an amazing experience, and I think that everybody here in America should have an opportunity, or to be mandatory that they do that. Another thing that she thought was different about America than Indonesia was how here in America students seem to be more mature, act more like adults, and I feel like that we grow up too quickly here in America, and that's why we are like this. And for the teachers that are in the classroom, she thinks that your wages are extremely higher than hers, so you should be grateful and quit complaining. And something that Ilona was talking about was her views of America before she came here, that we seemed to be very patriotic, but when she has experienced us here, we all have our own opinions that's so vast, and that maybe we are still patriotic, but media portrays us much differently than we really are, I guess. So I think that's it, and thank you for coming.
All right.
Hi there. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to all of our visitors. I'm so happy to see all of you here and be participating in this event this morning. It's been a real eye-opener. The thing that I've discovered above all is that we're all in the same boat, no matter where we're from. We all have divisions, whether it's political, social, race, religious, and we all have come to the agreement here this morning that we can unite the world, actually, through education. And we can turn the troublemakers, and I'm not just talking about the kids, we can turn all of the world's troublemakers into solution finders by events like this, where we actually do get to know each other, and also by creating events for children, once again the big kids, get them involved. And one of the biggest things that I think we're all facing is trying to find ways to unite each other, and trying to find ways to basically fund our programs And, well, first of all, I'm sorry, let me back up a second and introduce the people that I was speaking with this morning. We have Fatina, who is from Malaysia, and one of the things that her country is dealing with is pressure on the kids for test scores, which is something that has amazed me. In the last couple of months, I've got to go and observe a lot of the grade schools, and we have a lot of pressure on our kids too. And we came to the conclusion that we need to laugh and get the kids laughing, and that will help them as well with that kind of a pressure. And we also have Elma from Bosnia, and she's involved with a wonderful event where they bring over, well, approximately 500,000 children to a festival every year. And it's amazing. The project is completely grassroots. They have no support. They literally make it out of thin air, and that's amazing. And then we have Denny from Macedonia, and he actually gave me an education this morning. I found out that his country is where Alexander the Great and Mother Teresa came from. And he's rubbing some pretty good elbows there, so I'm glad to be here rubbing elbows with him. I really feel that this is a valuable forum, and I hope to participate in more. And thank you so much to our guests.
To introduce you, Laura.
Oh, I'm just a clown.
It's just a clown. She's actually a professional clown. Okay, I'm scouring the room.
My name is Karen, and I have Kidnish from Ethiopia and Fatima from Pakistan. I had so many questions, I tried to narrow it down. So what I decided to do was ask them both what they would most want people in the U.S. to know about their countries. Kidnish wanted everybody to know that Ethiopia is very diverse and rich, and that the media, more than what the media portrays of their country, and they are very proud. And even though they are not a fully developed country, it is in the works to do so. And that they are very happy people, and they're not so different from us. In Pakistan, the media portrays it as terrorists and extremists in the country, and that's not so much true. I think we have that in the United States in general. If you go to her country, it's a beautiful country. They have 4 seasons, they have mountains, they have the sea, and it's heaven on earth to her, and that we should go and visit. And the people there are very friendly. The stereotypes in both countries are basically that women are portrayed not to be educated and that they have no rights, and that's not true. But that we all agree that education is key.
Hello, I'm Michelle. I picked out the science teachers, basically, because I'm going into science, and we didn't really look at any of the questions. We got into the subject of how to teach children science and math, which is an issue not only in their country, but ours as well. Trying to get kids more involved into physics, chemistry, biology is very difficult, actually quite difficult, which surprises me because I find the whole subjects quite fascinating. So we kind of blew off the questions and just talked that. I find fascinating that Barry brought up that in his country they start physics at grade 7. And it's like, we need to do that here. It doesn't even start until college, basically, here. They don't give you much in high school on physics and stuff. So we could learn a lot from Barry on that part. Fatima and stuff, she was talking about how they don't have like the technologies like we do on teaching some of the sciences. They have the chalkboards and stuff, which I think is great. So sometimes you need the board. You know, I mean, some scientists, that's what they use. They don't even use computers. They still use whiteboards or blackboards to do their work. And then they put it on the computer and stuff. So, and she was, Antra. I'm surprised. I'm actually getting the names right. I'm not very good at pronunciation, and I'm doing it. She was talking about how in her country, too, is trying to get some of the kids more interested in sciences and stuff, and getting the parents more involved. But a lot of times, you're saying some of the parents want their kids to go down a different road, and so that's not easy to do, dealing with the parents themselves and the children when it comes to science and the math, because the parents want them to hurry up and get the education and then get a more stable job. Because they were all telling me how their parents wanted you guys to be teachers instead of going in the fields they wanted to go into. Which I hope you don't give those fields up even though you're teaching, and I hope you do keep teaching. That was the other thing we were talking about, how when the kids do finally get science, that spark in their eyes, like, wow. I love that. That's awesome that they get that same spark that we get here and stuff. But science, math, it needs a little more support in that area. We need to put a little more effort into it. I want to, his name is Neil deGrasse Tyson. And one of the things he has stated is that we are not science illiterate throughout the world, and we need to be more science illiterate, so when our scientists come up with new stuff, we don't freak out and start making stuff up. And I think as a global community now, we should really look into improving our math and science programs. Thank you.
All right, we have 2 groups left. Who's going to volunteer? I'm volunteering.
Hi, my name is Sal Buffalo, and I'm one of the psychology instructors here at Yavapai. I had the honor to sit with both Adriana and Patricia, who are both from Brazil, and also a student, Laura Nelson, here as well, and Dr. Gann. It's interesting, our conversations kept kind of coming back to the same theme, which I think is important, is the fact that we're all acknowledging the fact that so many times when we think about different countries, different countries and different cultures, we think about differences, but the reality is we're more alike than unlike, no matter where we go. And I think that's a very, obviously a very important thing to remember. As far as education, both Adriana and Patricia were acknowledging the fact that education in their country is the students are more community-based. They kind of stick together. They form groups. They work together. Whereas the differences that they acknowledge here in this country is that students here are more independent. As a matter of fact, I think it was Adriana that said that sometimes we think your students don't even need teachers because they kind of work on their own. They kind of do their own thing. And there is some differences with that. And again, we were kind of discussing some of the cultural differences and that sense of community and how we sometimes in this country really try to advocate for independence, kind of, telling our children to become more independent, whereas in other countries it's more community and family oriented, and that seems to hold true even to adulthood. So, anyway.
All right, Francis, you're on.
I had the pleasure of meeting Brian and Gwendolyn. I'm not going to even try to pronounce their last names. One of the things that Brian brought up is the media, how it affected him. He was almost in fear to come here because the media just makes everybody look so different, not like what we're really like, right? I mean, and another thing I noticed is they produce most of their own food, which we don't. I mean, it's very, there's very few farmers. You usually just go to the grocery store and get your food. He had a hamburger and he liked it. Brian said he had a hamburger and liked it. Another topic is the corruption in government, which unfortunately that's probably everywhere, even here. So, and another interesting thing is they don't pay taxes. It's all included. you know, I don't know if that's good or bad, you know. Their gas is $8 a gallon, so compared to here, that's, you know, quite a difference. Once again, limited educational opportunities. You know, they have to work a lot harder than we do to pay for their education, where here we can have grants, scholarships, student loans, whatever, you know. So I'm really impressed to see what they've achieved, considering the limitations they've had. And another thing is they noticed about us is that we volunteer a lot, which I volunteer myself. So, you know, I've been to all these countries, and most of them because I'm a Marine. So I've been all over the world, and I've dealt with cultures, but most cultures won't talk to me because I was holding a weapon. You know, so, you know, they were kind of afraid of me, which, yeah, we were there. Everywhere I went, we were fighting for freedom. You know, I've been shot, stabbed, you name it, for freedom. So, I would, you know, I wish the world would be a better place, but unfortunately it isn't. But I think it's getting better. So, like everybody else has said, through education, that's a big factor, you know. It opens up your mind, it makes you realize, you know, in reality, we're all the same. You know what I mean? We have 2 legs, 2 arms, 1 head, you know, blah, blah, blah. That's about it. That's all I can think of.
Well, thank you for
So we're about ready to wrap this portion. I wanted to first give a shout out to my partner in, not crime, but Christy Kappitz for helping to organize this. Hey, Christy. I wanted to thank my distinguished guests for coming over from Prescott. Thank you, President Wills and Vice President Gillespie. Thanks for making it over. And my wonderful faculty colleagues, thank you so much, Sal and Terrence, and of course my students, my amazing students. Thank you for showing up early. I know this is not your time, right? Teresa's not here, but I want to give a shout out to our admin, mission control, Doug and Jen, for your amazing spread. Yay, right? You haven't even picked up your lunches yet. Now, everyone else, faculty, these are not for you. They're for our guests who are moving on. They're going to Monument Valley from here. So they're all labeled. I think you've pre-ordered those. I wanted to, of course, thank you, our Humphrey Fellows, and now I know it's ILEP to pronounce it, for being here, for being an inspiration and sharing everything that you have this morning. So thank you. Big round of applause for everyone. You were all wonderful. So have a great trip to Monument Valley. Before you head out, we'll take a group photo, and you just need to head right out those doors. Michelle is going to direct you, and then you'll come back here, pick up your lunches, and you'll be good to go. So thanks, everyone.